All right, everybody, if you don't mind just taking your seats, we hope that this hearing will go pretty quick and fast. We are going to be hearing from a young gentleman right here today who has been a victim to technology. And unfortunately, we are going to hear some really disturbing things that the tech giants out there, specifically the camera companies, have done to this young man. A lot of you already know that there has been a lot of abuse in the tech world, specifically with cameras. And today we have a really brave guy coming on the stand here. He's going to be giving his testimony, and it's going to be a little heart-wrenching. It's going to hurt a little bit. We need to know what's going on with these tech companies, specifically with camera companies, because there seems to be abuse going on. So without any further ado, I want to hear from that main victim right now, Jared Hoyman. Now, Jared, I know this is really hard for you. Am I right? Yeah, I know. This is pretty tough. This is tough for all of us, right? Sony? Pretty tough. Panasonic? Super tough. Yeah, I know. It's really tough for all of us to hear these things that are going to come out, but we need to know. And with the allegations going on with these companies, they need to know what they need to do to make it better for you. We gave you a teddy bear. It's in your hands. That's right. That is the teddy bear. Now, I want you to point on that teddy bear where Sony touched you. No, I don't even know who this guy is. I just looked up his YouTube channel. He has never reviewed a Sony product in his entire life. We've never even heard of this guy. But he touched me on the butt.
You're a monster.
Hi, I'm Jared Hoyman, and welcome back to the channel where, well, I might have just crossed the line. Was that inappropriate? Probably. Was I making a point? A little bit. Yeah, it was mostly just fun. But yes, I was making a point. And that point is some things get carried away in this industry. And I think that this is one of them. And not that it's not legit, and I'm going to give you my full view on it. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, well, good for you, because there's way too many people talking about this. And unfortunately now I'm one of them, but bringing it in from a different perspective, a different light. And that is this. There is a Me Too movement coming out. And was the Me Too movement that came out a few years back a bad thing? I don't think so. But I also think it made a floodgate of a lot of false allegations, and then it was the boy who cried wolf. We did not know what was a true story and what was a false story, and so it was really hard to know who the true victims in that scenario is. Well, the Me Too movement that's going on right now in the YouTube universe is the Me Too movement of technology and companies that are paying creators like myself, and by the way, I actually don't even have a company that has paid me. I had companies that have given me gear to review, but they have not paid me as of this date of making this video. But they have paid a lot of creators out there to make videos and to be a little bit, obviously, biased. And it will be a little hard to not be biased in some of these reviews. So more specifically, we are talking about Insta360, the company, and their X4, I believe it is. It's a 360 camera. I have the X3. Side note, totally think it's mediocre and I hate 360 cameras, but I have it specifically because of a client that requires a specific shoot once a month and it needs that camera. But here's the thing, Insta360 did collaborate with a lot of creators out there and they wanted these reviews done the moment they were allowed to release it to the public and let them know. So Insta360 told some of these creators that, look, we want this to look organic, so don't tell people that we're collaborating, that we're doing anything in conjunction together and make it look like it's just natural that you love the product. Well, one of the YouTubers that I love and I follow is iPhone Do, and that guy is amazing. I love watching his stuff, and if you haven't already seen his channel, well, check it out. I'll leave a link below. It is pretty awesome. He's very, very authentic. But that is where this all began. Now, he felt very convicted after reading the verbiage that Insta360 was telling him to say, and he just felt like, you know what, I feel like this isn't fair to my audience, to my subscribers, and I want to share this with them. Now, after that video came out from iPhone Do, a lot of people stepped up and said, you know what, Insta360 gave me verbiage saying that I should hide our sponsorship and I should make it look like it's very organic as well. And they felt convicted as well to come out and say that. And I think that's personally fine. What I would have liked to see from a lot of these guys after the fact, after that first video from iPhone Do, would have been more like these companies reaching out directly to Insta360, having correspondence, and if they weren't happy with how that correspondence went, then they can explain and talk to it with their audience, and go from there instead of kind of just, you know, scorch earth right away on the whole company. But what was really fascinating about this whole, I want to call it an experiment on YouTube, is that it opened the doors of a lot of people not necessarily trusting anybody else in their reviews, because are they bought and sold by that company? Are they controlled by that company to give a specific review? And that is a very practical and honest question to ask the people that you are following. Is that true? Now, anytime a company sends me a product to review, there is that sense of, you know what, I better be nice to that company. Now, there are those companies that have sent me things that I have bashed prior to them sending me stuff, and then they sent me new updated things, and I didn't bash them as hard. And one of those companies is Lexar. I totally bashed Lexar in a video a few years back and just said how horrible the card was, how it crashed all the time. It just did not work well in the Canon R6. And what did Lexar do? They actually sent me out a few cards and said, these are our updated cards. Would you mind checking them out? They didn't even ask me to do a review. They just said, hey, check them out. And I think that's the route to go. If you complain about a company, if a company says, you know what, yeah, maybe we screwed up, but try out this new brand. Maybe this one will work a little bit better. That is pretty awesome. If we can get responses like that from other companies, that would be amazing. If we can get people to review honestly, that would be awesome. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's always a bias. I am biased to cameras that I've used for years and years and years, Canon. And if Canon were to send me a camera, which they've never done that before, or brought me out a press release, which they've never done before either, maybe in the future, I probably would be drooling a lot. But I would tell you that as my subscriber. I would say, look, I am a Canon fanboy. I am going to be biased in many different ways. I also say that with my lenses. I am biased towards specific lenses, but I will give you the nitty-gritty as well. But every review out there is biased. Whether they say it or not, there is a bias in there, and there's no such thing as a perfectly unbiased review, unless you're AI. AI can give you an unbiased review. Do YouTubers screw up on these reviews? Yes, all the time. I'm one of them. I give bad advice sometimes indirectly, not on purpose, because I will review something and I will then use it for months and months, and I will find a weird little flaw later on where I'm like, where did that come from? I need to tell people this. And that's where I think there are initial reviews, there's midterm reviews, and there's long-term reviews. And maybe there's long-term reviews where it's years down the line after using a product. So, you know, Christopher Frost, who does amazing videos on reviewing lenses, will review a lens when it initially comes out. He'll review it maybe a year or so later. And he's even reviewed those same lenses 10 years later to see how they work on next generation camera bodies. And maybe that's how we should be looking at it as well. And you as a consumer, when you're looking at these reviews, look at them for what they are. They're initial reviews. And then you are going to look at them down the line and see how people have used them over the course of a good period of time. And that's how you will come to it. And lastly, there's no perfect product. There's no perfect camera. There's no perfect lens. There's no perfect drone. It always progressively gets better. And so a review today is not going to be relevant necessarily tomorrow. And you almost have to put that on your own shoulders as a consumer and not really on the shoulders of a reviewer or a manufacturer. Now, if a company's been asking you to do something unethical and wrong, well, then obviously you need to bring that to the company. And my advice is find other creators in your niche and reach out to them and ask them if a similar situation has happened to them or if it's just a remote situation that's happening to you only. Because then you will find out what the real truth is. And if you find out it is a large amount of people, then you have a larger voice to go at. iPhone Dude did an amazing job going out and explaining everything in the process on why he dumped Insta360 as a sponsor. Now, I hope that everybody doesn't go scorched earth on every single brand out there. By the way, I love Panasonic. I have used Panasonic in the past. I think they're amazing. Sony, I bet you they're amazing too. I've never owned a Sony camera or a Sony lens. I've been thinking about it just as something that I could review, not that it would be my main camera. But these are companies I definitely respect as a business. And so that was just a joke in the beginning, obviously. None of those companies even touched me, I swear. Now, you know whose voice really matters? Yours. Your voice matters. And I would love to hear what you have to say on this topic. So if you want to leave a comment below, I will read it. Leave it polite and kind and cordial to anybody else in here. If it isn't, well, I manipulate the numbers too by deleting them. So keep it clean. If you like that kind of comedic intro like I did in this video, let me know too in the comments below because it's just my sense of humor. I would do more videos like that. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and of course, there's these videos. The ones that linger when you last this long in it. It's like an Easter egg for those that have patience with me. Check them out.